good to be back together again. Today, we are meeting together to talk about the very important issue of gender-based violence. We wanted to have an employer's perspective on these issues. So we have Pearl with us today. She's an HR and training manager in Calgary. Welcome, Pearl.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Oyen is here with us today. Oyen is the program coordinator for the New Friends and Neighborhood Groups program at CEWA, which helps immigrants integrate into the community. Welcome, Oyen.
Thank you for having me.
I wanted to get somebody that was directly involved on the front lines, and so we brought in Catherine, who's a family counselor here at CEWA, working with families directly involved in domestic violence. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you.
So lately we have been hearing a lot about this issue of gender-based violence. Did you see that happening in our communities?
Absolutely. Given that gender-based violence is such a general term for such a huge selection of situations, there could be things like physical, but also emotional, psychological, sexual, and many, many, many others. It is really easy to conclude and know that it is happening in our communities. Even if you don't think you personally know somebody who's affected by a situation like that, it absolutely is there.
Definitely see that happening. Gender-based violence, in my opinion, is actions of wrongdoing targeted towards individuals that could scar them for life, emotionally, physically, and in several other ways. Actions that might make an individual feel inadequate, that could be damaging, I would say, for a lifetime.
So did you know that there are 2/3 of people know somebody who's actually been affected by gender-based violence?
I had no idea. That's a lot of people.
That is.
Based on my experience as a counselor, I'm very much aware that gender-based violence has been there since forever and is on the rise. At CEWA itself, in comparison to pre-pandemic days, we saw a 48.5% increase in the first year of the pandemic and a 57% increase in the second year, which is very much in line with the United Nations terming this as a shadow pandemic.
Those are definitely huge numbers. And what kinds of things have you done to build awareness for yourself on this issue?
I think experience is a big teacher, and having experience meeting people who've actually experienced gender-based violence, that's one of the biggest ways that I've learned about it, and then just being interested in knowing more. It's happening in our communities, so I know it's also happening in our workplaces. Wherever you work, it's not only one type of workplace or one kind of workplace, it's anywhere. It's the people that we work with day in and day out.
In the course of my career, I would say I've been exposed to situations around gender-based violence. I wouldn't say I've had any formal training. I have had opportunities to educate myself about gender-based norms and stereotyping. I've learned this by becoming more aware, more mindful of the type of language that I use. For example, when a male is shamed or bullied for crying because he's a boy, or when people say to boys to man up, that, in my opinion, is gender-based violence. Or when we talk about females being denied certain roles in the workplace, or the assumption that they're not fit to do certain things, that is also gender-based violence. This happens very widely, I would say, and commonly in communities around us.
In addition to learning from the clients I serve, I'm exposed to ongoing training opportunities, community engagement sessions, learning from and participating in researches related to gender-based violence. And my team really ensures that we don't limit this knowledge to ourselves. We believe in collective awareness and ensure people, workplaces, communities around us learn about us and be a part of the solution to make a collective impact. This is why we work so closely with entities like Calgary Domestic Violence Collective and Calgary Police Service to effectively share our mutual learnings.
It seems that the issue is quite prevalent then. Have you actually encountered gender-based violence in the workplace or community?
Absolutely. So as being a part of a community, being part of our community and being an employer, my thought process on this is the same. We just need to be aware of what's happening in our community, in our workplaces, and listen for when something doesn't seem right. Especially if a successful friend or a colleague is not behaving or performing the same way as expected, or sudden changes in their behavior. As an employer, I may have, or you may have, resources at or through your workplace that you know about, or something that I can do to ensure I know somebody gets the help that they need. I also know that places like SIWA is an amazing amount of support. They have so many resources, supports, different ideas and strategies that they can use, and also support networks that they can send people to or help people find to help those individuals who are affected by gender-based violence.
I guess I could say I'm fortunate not to know anyone directly. However, from observation, I can tell that there are a number of individuals that have experienced gender-based violence in childhood, and they tend to carry this into adulthood. And as such, it explains some behaviors that we experience in a society. For example, bullying in the workplace, and even spousal abuse.
I see clients every day, both men and women, and I have seen that this issue really damages the whole family. The impact on children is so significant, and the trauma from it can be damaging their development and their overall future. So if people were a bit more aware about gender-based violence issue, took the courage to support the individuals dealing with this, many lives can be saved, and our men, women, young girls and boys can all live in a society free of gender-based violence.
It's been so wonderful to have all of you here today. You've all been very knowledgeable. Is there any advice you might have on where individuals can connect to get more resources on this issue?
Contribute to provide support as much as you can. Tap into creating opportunities and talk about gender-based violence related resources. I think this would be very helpful. The kinds of supports that individuals can access and where they can access it from are conversations that should be held within social circles in the city, communities, towns, and workplaces.
I would recommend attending and hosting events such as SIWA's upcoming Gender-Based Violence Resource Fair and the Walkathon, which we have scheduled on May 19th at the SIWA main office, to learn more about the supports available in Calgary. We'll have the panel discussion with the speakers from Calgary Women's Emergency Shelter, SAGES, and Calgary Police Services, who will be sharing their valuable insights on this issue of gender-based violence and the strategies to tackle and eradicate this from our community.
I think my final thought on the issue is doing nothing should never be our solution. Right? Keep your ear to the ground, keep your eyes open, and don't allow nothing to be the answer.
Thank you so much for being here with us, Pearl. You've been very helpful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Catherine, those are great ideas. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Owen, for being here with us. We really appreciate your words today. Well, this has been such an informative time for us. I hope it's been helpful for you. SIWA has an extensive amount of resources on the issue of gender-based violence. We encourage you to take a closer look and learn ways to support victims and survivors. Be on the lookout. Take a step forward.